Well, hello. We are live. I'm Tet. That's Xeipher. We're gonna talk some B&B for October and November, I guess. No real agenda as usual. Just start us off here. That we had a pretty good October. 3 campaigns actually ended and 1 started, I believe. I don't remember what started. Do you?
Give me a moment while I quickly take a look.
Was it?
Actually,
It was.
nothing started. Well, end of the world.
Masks started.
Masks. Masks started in September, right? No.
No.
Oh wow.
That's what it is. Yeah. Call of Cthulhu, Mask of Nyarlathotep, something like that. I can never pronounce it exactly correctly.
Nylabone.
Nylabone, that's right. A plastic dog treat. Yes. The cheap bones from the old Petco or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Masks of Nylabone.
Nylabone. Yeah, so Abandon All Hope ended, and then 2 campaigns of mine and just been stringing along, which was that A Song of Ice and Fire campaign, and then that Ches the Demon Lord campaign, which both kind of just were. The Song of Ice and Fire campaign hadn't been run for over a year and a half, but that was mostly due because of when it was happening was about the time of the hurricane in Houston, and Rob is in Houston, so kind of delayed, and then got pushed back, and finally got it done. So yeah, and then just the normals games, I guess. Dark Age, Rogue Trader, Cyberpunk, Masks, as we had said, and then I think there was a couple games like
Star Wars, End of the World.
Yeah, Bo's usual.
And then Chaos 610 AD.
Yep, which you guys just played last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm processing the video now. And then they played Star Wars tonight, I know. So I think that'll put Star Wars on a hiatus for a couple months while Bo runs the Grasshopper Lies Heavy. Want you to talk about that a little bit since you're in that game?
Oh yeah, so the game is called Grasshopper Lies Heavy. It is, I believe, based on the Genesis game engine. It is a take on an alt universe. If the Axis powers won, the Allies lost, what would the world look like? I believe the timeline is late 50s, early 60s.
So we're talking about similar. It's in the vein of Man in the High Castle,
Yes.
which some of you might have seen. Amazon Prime show, which I actually just watched tonight. And it's pretty good. It's based on a Philip K. Dick book. I don't know really anything about it. I don't know if it's the same name actually even, but yeah. So that should be interesting. I think that's you, Matt, TD, and
Sim.
who am I missing? Sim.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Walter Peck.
Walter
Actually,
Peck.
not TD. It's Matt, Sim, myself, and Walter Peck.
Okay, that's right. All right. Yeah. Okay. What else got announced? Warhammer 4th edition game. Doc is gonna run based in Mordheim. More D100 love for Xeipher.
Whiffest.
Whiffest, yeah. Supposedly 4E does something to negate that a bit. I don't know what that is, but
they just ask you to roll a D20 when you just give up.
If you roll D100, if you miss, roll D20.
Yeah.
You hit this time.
Oh.
I think that game is Ghost Matt, TD, and I saw Demi.
Hmm.
So see how that goes. I think they're going to play it a few times before, but really, I think the campaign's supposed to get kicked off in February.
Mm-hmm. Based on the new rule sets we have running at BNB.
Yep.
Doc will go into priority sometime in Feb.
Yep. That would be when him and Rogue come up, and I think they're both will run at the same time. And I think Rogue will run his other game, Demon Gate, which I do plan on playing on that. I know Ghost does and Matt does as well. So because we actually are writing for that game now, and some of his supplements coming out soon. So we should probably play the game, I figure. So
Who? You guys,
what
since
else?
you're writing the game, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe a good idea.
Yeah.
What else? Witcher, I guess.
Yes.
Witcher, I'm running. Starting in earnest in January. I might have a couple sessions in December. But yeah, mostly January. It's going to be very similar to how Xeipher's doing Cyberpunk, and I'm going to have a lot of different players, a lot of different plot lines, kind of weaving in and out of each other, and see where it goes. Hopefully, it'll be interesting, and I can make it work. I'm going to need a lot of sessions to do it, so I think at the time in January, I'll only be playing Cyberpunk, and February, then I'll add Demon Gate. But other than that, I won't do anything, I don't think. Maybe a session of Trek here or there, but not too much. So I talked about Cyberpunk briefly. Why don't you kind of talk about how that's going and how like the process of how you're building that game and how it's different from all the other games that we do.
Yeah, so with Cyberpunk, it's been interesting. It actually evolved. My original idea was to run a small game with a couple of players and see where it goes. But the hype grew. People got interested in the setting. What I did was I wrote a bunch of stuff like the geopolitical scene of the world, the tech scene of the world, and it kind of got everybody interested. And before I knew it, I had 6 players wanting to play the game. We coined the word called the vulture for this game. The idea was that any day where no game is happening or a game was scheduled and for some reason fell through, I would be ready to run Cyberpunk, and that's kind of what we did through through October, some of September through October. The idea is not all 6 players are necessary at any given time. The players have complete control over their destiny. I have a couple of plot lines, but that is just to give the world, an additional dimension. It is not. My intention is not that the players are going to play that plot line. It's just there so that while they're interacting with the world, they will see events that they had nothing to do with, but hey, something is happening in this world. 2 players currently, that is Tet himself and Matt, have written extensively for this world. By extensively, I mean they've written a lot of background details about their characters, their goals, their aspirations, and how each of those is connected to events that occurred in their past in this world, which made my life as a GM a lot easier. I didn't have to kind of flesh the world out and then expect the players to attach to it. The players created the attachments and are playing with that. The other thing I did was I'm using the Stars Without Number system. So I'm going to introduce faction play. Here, factions are in the original settings. Factions were entities that kind of spanned maybe sectors. Since this is 2049 Earth, It's just megacorps that control different regions of this place I call Icarus One, um, and that's the gist of it. Um, Now each player, given the, how do you say, the core of Stars Without Number is it's player driven. It's a sandbox. The difference in the way I'm creating my sandbox is it is on demand. Depending on what the players are going to do the next few sessions, I build those parts of the world for them. Just because I'm a lazy GM. And then the idea is that as they keep completing their goals, new sections will be created based on where they are at the moment. The goals are something that is completely player driven, things that they want to do in character against people that have wronged them, against people that have hurt them in the past, so on and so forth. That allows me to create hooks in the world that they can actually interact with and push their agenda forward. We've had, I think, 8 or 9 sessions.
Eight.
8 sessions, and in those 8 sessions, I would say at least 2 or 3 of them have just been player RP with very to little, little to no GM interaction. The idea there was I just put up screens and the players are RPing um, feelings, emotions.
Is that boring for you, or do you
No,
like that?
I like it a lot because I find, while we spend a lot of time on Discord and exchanging ideas, um, there's just too many conversations happening on Discord. But when I'm watching, I mean, more than actually listening to you guys role play it out, I feel I'm kind of, you know, um, capturing the content better than just reading messages back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Do you feel entertained in a way that you would feel entertained like you're watching TV or something? And that
uh,
is it kind of that, or is it more you're more involved, so you have to process it in a different way than.
Yes. So some parts of it is entertaining, but I have to kind of keep a check on myself, not to kind of passively sit back. I am taking notes and making, like quick marks saying, "Oh, they said this. This is what, you know." Like the idea is, my ideal is that I am trying to form. I mean, it might be big words, but a psychological profile for each of these characters, right? I can throw all sorts of MacGuffins at you guys, or like, oh, this is a bad guy, that's a bad guy. What I want more is to say the right things that is going to tick your character off. It's going to push the buttons of your character to make you behave in a way that at times you may not behave rationally, right? Because for me,
Sure.
when that happens, and if I do it at the right place at the right time, I can create more drama than just putting you guys in a massive firefight, or in a in a scenario where not more than outgunned, but you're also kind of, rather than outclass you, it's more like, hey, how do we wordplay and um, get under each other's skin, right? Um,
Yeah, and one thing I find, and not necessarily here so much, but maybe a little bit, is when people are faced with a scenario in character about what to do, and they think like, sometimes they think, well, this is the best path to go, instead
mhm.
of this is what my character's path should be, right? It's like, you hear like people doing things. I can understand you do it for an out of character reason. Why I did this because I didn't want to, sidetrack everybody. And you hear that, and that's
Yeah,
whatever. But like if you're like, well, my character would do A, but I think I should do B because that's the best for us to complete our mission, quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that has happened. That has happened in actually one CP session, and I, as a GM, was actually taken aback till I actually talked to my players, and it kind of put something in perspective for me myself, and actually helped me as a player also, because it's a tough thing, right? Because sometimes, if you think about it, as humans, we are not rational all the time. Most of the time, we're irrational. We take stupid decisions, and that doesn't mean you have to take stupid decisions all the time in the game. But if your character is emotionally compromised um, in certain situations, then you have to let it play out, right? But the idea also is from a GM to create that situation, right? That's
Yeah.
I think that's I think for me that's the next big thing, is that creating those situations based on what I've seen my players do, which is difficult, but
Mhm.
hopefully I'll get there one day.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so that's what's been happening with CP. I'm It's going to go uh, hopefully active, fully active, no longer vulture and taking dates, fully active
Yeah.
in December. And we're going to run it all the way till the 6 months are up, which is sometime in
February, I think.
February. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you're gonna have scheduled sessions, and they're gonna vulture as well. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yes. So my plan is the yes, yes. I think on all the chats I told you guys. I think ideally the way this game is running, if I can get 8 sessions a month where I'm not playing anything else but just GMing this, I can
Sure.
ensure all my players' goals are met. Right, because that's the other thing. When you create a world like this and you have players provide the goals, and you don't end up creating a scenario where they can finish those goals, then in a way I feel worse than, say, if I set up the goals and they didn't complete the content. Because at that
Mhm.
point, well, like, okay, I didn't run the game fast enough, or I didn't do something quick enough, or the players didn't put in like their heart and soul. It was more like a lot of my work that just didn't get to fruition because the game went somewhere else or didn't run fast enough. But like, honestly, the players have written more stuff for this game than I have. So a huge part of it is,
Particularly Matt, really.
yes, particularly Matt. Like, uh, she's written stuff that I didn't expect to write, and now I have to write for it because she's written stuff for her aspects, which
Yeah.
is, yeah. So it's fun. A part of me is afraid what's going to happen in February once I'm done with this game, because it has consumed every aspect of my gaming thoughts right now. Like, pretty much anything I'm thinking about is this game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting come Feb.
Yeah. Well, that's when you do it all again with something else.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just I just hope I don't run out of ideas by Feb.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You won't. You won't, because they shouldn't be your ideas, right? They should be other people's ideas.
that's true. But a, a part of me is a little worried because the other games that we're playing, the other games that we have tested, at least from my friend, is Trek and Godbound, and it's going to be a challenge, particularly for me, to figure out how I'm going to do the same with Trek, because it's a little more,
That's tough. Yeah.
yeah, and Godbound also is going to be interesting. Tet knows this. Over time, I wouldn't say an aversion. It's more like fantasy's kind of lost its place in my heart for me when it comes to games, which is interesting because I got into this hobby playing fantasy more than like sci-fi or anything tech based, right? Um, so yeah, I have to do some thinking about this and how I can set up a fantasy game in a similar line.
So let's talk about that. So why do you think that is?
So the thing with fantasy that I find difficult is in some settings, there are classes, right? Depending on who you're playing, where you might end up in a situation where there's not much you can do. You just have to stand back and let things happen. Again, depending on the fantasy setting. The
Now,
other
now
thing,
you're talking about social classes. Is that what
yeah,
you're
social
saying?
classes. Yeah, social
Okay.
classes. Yeah, like if you're ideally you're
A
not going to
peasant.
want to, yeah, if you're not going to want to play a peasant, but like, say you are a lowly page and you are suddenly find yourself in a gathering of knights or something like that, right? The other thing that I've found over time, which uh, even as a GM, I don't know how when I come to wait for Witcher to see how it's done, is that travel, right? Travel tends to kind of bog things down. You can hand wave some of it, but then at a later time in the game, I've seen like, oh, how long has time passed? So that not more mechanically to say like, oh, can I recharge my spells or whatever, but it's more like something social happened 3 days ago. Has 3 days passed for me to attempt this again? Or this person NPC I'm interacting with, would this be the right time to speak to them? It's more from, and I think from that I find it plodding, right? As opposed to when we played.
Yeah, I can agree with that. With travel, it can get kind of tedious. Well, yeah, I mean, you look at a system like Tor, right, which actually incorporates travel into the game.
Mhm.
In a way, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they do, right? Yeah.
Correct. So, and the other thing about travel, I think I've never explained this well, is even if we kind of extract it and say, kind of explain it out of character or explain it as a narration, um, you just can't get speed, right? So sometimes your decisions are hampered by the fact that, say, I'm in village A and I need to go to town B. That distance, even if we don't RP it or talk about it, it's going to take a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how far it is on the map, right? It's a bit restrictive if you think about it, because now you have to like, oh, whatever plans you have, you can't just like, oh, this is going to get done, I'm going to land up in town B at the end of the night, or I'm going to get across town, like, uh, wait, I that your yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. So what's the difference between that and something like um, multi-sector travel in sci-fi, where it takes a long time to get between point A and point B? I mean, time is all relative, right? Yeah, it might be less than a week, but if you're used to getting someplace in, a couple hours, then if you travel, at warp speed, quote unquote,
Mhm.
and it takes you, I mean, you're just going further, but it still takes a long time. So what's the difference, I
Sure.
guess?
In that, I guess there's not much difference there. I think the only thing that threw me off recently was the Rogue Trader game, where we're talking in weeks and months, and I think that potentially threw me off. But even there, kind of like if we discuss out of character, we're like, oh wait, it's going to take 2 weeks to get here. It's going to be possibly months to get to our uh, uh, next planet that we're trying to visit. Now the question is, oh shit, do we get all the, like, that's how in part of me, I can say that I also got on board about making that transaction of human cargo. Was, hey, if it's going to take us 3 months to get there, we can't leave one of our ships behind, give it time to
Mm-hmm.
morale up and
Come back.
everything, can come back for it. There's just no way. 3 months, we might be dead in 3 months, or we might have ended up in the in the warp if a certain navigator got his souls.
Yeah.
Right. um
Yes, certainly.
but I think overall, it's it's not it is more, how do I put this, you are not tied to the same location, right? Like, even if you forget, even if you, yeah, if you're doing multi-sector jumps, sure, it's like weeks. But within the same sector or within the same world, you can say, oh, there is city on this side of the planet, there is two other cities on those sides of the planets.
Gotcha.
Those cities have, like, say, big bad evils that are plotting against this city. Go in there, do some, make some ruckus, get out of there, go here. You kind of get a scene change, right? It kind of keeps things lively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in the CP game, like, I can say, oh, you guys, like, everything's happening that night, like, it's rapid, right? You might feel that, oh, you move from here to here to here, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're just driving across town, right? But if you're doing this in a fantasy setting where your conveyances are like either horse cart, or even if they're fast horses, you cannot you cannot create a like multi-city, multi-jurisdiction,
Mhm.
like ruckus, right? So again, and I think the other thing is I have not played. I'm hoping The Witcher is like I have not played a fantasy setting I've liked so far, right? I mean, I did start playing D&D, but it was not really there's not much of more of a setting. It was more like a board game that was played with role playing around it.
Yeah.
But like even for example, Shadows of the Demon Lord, I never really got into it. I really felt like I was just going up and down the same road, visiting the same few towers, the same city over and over again. There
Yeah.
was nothing fresh, right? So the other thing, I guess, it also comes down to narration, right? And I guess we just have to be better at it as GMs, and even I'll have to learn it when I play Godbound. Is because everything is slow, even the actions take longer, right? If there is a town or a city far away, they can't just suddenly attack you overnight. You might go create a ruckus. Their response is going to take you 2 to 3 weeks. Uh, so that kind of balances out. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's also the other thing is that it's
Mhm.
just uh, I can get very technical while playing like sci-fi games, right? We can throw in a lot of jargon, allow a lot of tech access, right? You can hack things, you can subvert things very quickly with appropriate roles, and the role play becomes easy. Oh, I'm just going to hack, like the one we did in Swan, the Into the Void, where you said, oh, you're going to hack the servers,
Yeah, the
implant.
satellite and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Here you would have to maybe infiltrate physically a military
Hmm.
installation to kind of change your wanted posters or something.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Right. Yeah.
But again, I think that's just it's just a personal thing. Like it's not. I think my D100 angst is more than my
Yeah.
reluctance to play
Yeah. Yeah. The
fantasy.
D100. They've been having a lot of D100 lately.
I know, and I think the D100 is, I know mathematically it doesn't really, I mean, rolling a D20 versus rolling a D100, right? But for me, there's some part of it is just that there is more options for the dice to fall on that can actually make a difference, right?
Well, it's really the fact of the matter is that your target numbers are lower in D100 games in general. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be the case. Like especially in Warhammer, right? In Warhammer based games, the 40K and the fantasy games,
Yeah.
it's like you get a average characteristic score of 30, where you have a 30% chance. It's not too fucking good.
Yeah. You shouldn't be adventuring, just stay at home.
Yeah, yeah. You should be playing role playing games, not being in them.
Not being.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing, is like my rogue trader character, one of his best attributes, I think, right now after pushing it up twice, is close to 48, right?
yeah,
Which means that 50, more than 50% of the time, my ballistic skills, I'm going to miss someone. I shouldn't
and
be
that's
having,
still good.
and it's still good.
That's good.
I shouldn't be
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's fine. I
Well,
don't have to understand.
my opinion on it is I think that what they expect you to do is use all your different combat talents to increase your probability and your weapon choices to increase your
Sure.
probability.
Yeah,
I
and I
think that's
think
really the idea.
that
But
makes sense, and I see why I fail at that, because while folks are looking at those things, I'm sitting and writing poems on how Helios can then go fucking nuts on something. So so
you got like a
I'm
little book of poems.
yeah, I've
It's
got a
like
little book of
Cypher's poems, and then one day after we're all dead, somebody's gonna grab your poems. Like, what the fuck? This guy's a fucking weirdo. He's got his Hobbit side and his Helios side. Like,
Hey,
man,
both
this
start
guy
with
is
H.
fucking schizophrenic. Fucking
That he
schizo.
is. Oh god. Yeah, so I'm thinking, oh, like, what am I going to say? What poem am I going to recite as I proceed to kill this person in front of me? Not caring what.
Kill. That's the nice word for
That's so
it.
nice. Yes,
Kill with
with
sodomy with some sort of instrument,
instrument.
sharp instrument. So
uh,
everybody's got their proclivities, especially in 40K, I guess.
yes, that's true.
Yeah, 40.
It,
It's an awful setting, really terrible.
yes, I a part of me worries if Bo has a point. If B&B sometimes goes too dark and there's nothing on the lighter side to pull us back.
I'm trying to. I know the only like quote unquote good character I play is probably Arable.
Yeah, yeah, Goody as well. Yeah, I think that's the only. I think
Goody.
that's the
Well,
only.
it's Tor though, right? I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, I think none of us ever gravitate towards playing a model, like in any setting, right?
no,
None of us have gravitated
no,
towards.
no. That's why Ghost and Matt are both playing like altruistic, kind of nice people in The Witcher, which is going to be funny because it's totally not a setting that you would, right? It's kind
No.
of it's very very opposite of that. It's like Ned Stark in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it
See
is.
what happened to him, right?
Yeah, no, that's a world that the good don't survive, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what else? You
Think
got anything else?
I think a couple of games are going to go out of in priority in December.
Yeah, Rogue Trader and a Vampire will be out.
Yeah.
They're still gonna go though. I think at
Yeah, I
least.
mean, there's still this. Yeah,
Rogue Trader's not even close to being done. I don't think really.
yeah. I don't
Um,
know. A part of me, I still, I still, I don't know. Part of me still thinks we have too many games, too many GMs, but I don't know how to. Like I don't want Rogue Trader to end. I think
I know.
Helios still has a long way to go. Every character in that game has a long way to go. Um, you know, um, I'm sure the same can be said about Vamp, and you know, even in
Vamp is gonna be over in at least 2 sessions though. I think. I think it
okay,
just needs one more, probably maybe.
okay,
So unfortunately, now it's really hitting its stride. It took kind of a little while to get there, just because I think everybody was trying to kind of get to know their characters,
yeah,
getting to know kind of what they're, what they want to do with those characters. And the first session was good, but it was kind of marred by one of the recruits we had in it, which was just made it kind of silly. So yeah, I think you have that to deal with too, right? It takes a little while to even get into your characters, and if you're
yeah.
only playing twice a month,
That's the thing is,
so
and it's being played twice a month because there are a lot of other games in between. Like I don't know. I mean, this may be a discussion for another day, another time, but like like for example, 8 sessions of CP have passed, and I feel we just finished like the entry mission, which I kind of set up so that people kind of can get used to the characters. Now, actually, after 8 sessions, the players are going to actually play their own goals, right? We just finished that arc of finishing a GM created mission, so you guys can all like, get into the game and
yeah,
do something. So
yeah,
I don't know what the answer is, but like I personally I don't want Rogue Trader to stop, right?
yeah. I
And
don't think it will for a while.
yeah.
My guess is when we get to Zaith, that will be the stopping point. That's my assumption. Don't know that's true, but
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want it to stop at Zaith, right? Like we're just
yeah,
hitting, we just kind of getting. That's the other thing we had discussed the last time is that these systems are built. Like I feel all these games you're playing have been built for long play, right?
yeah,
They have large skill sets, like complex mechanics. It's because the game designers almost, it's like playing a video game. They design it so you can put like 30, 40, 50 hours of game time into it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
I mean
it's
the same thing going to happen with The Witcher. When the game starts, I still feel 6 months won't be enough. Same thing's going to happen hopefully with CP. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but like I said, discussion some other day.
yeah. I mean, it's the question is with that, and yeah, we want to strive to end games by 6 months, but I mean, I guess it's a TBD, right? Because it just depends on what games are coming up after it. Is there going to be a break? Is there? I mean, but it does.
Yeah,
That doesn't seem to be likely. Everybody wants to. It's like, what's the next? I mean, I'm bad for that too. Like, I mean, I already have my next game after The Witcher planned. I have the game there, and I go and work on it a little bit every once in a while, right?
yeah.
And that's I'm not telling you what that is right now, but yeah. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's or I guess we don't worry about it. We just keep playing whatever we play. We just play. I guess.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, as long as the games come to an end in a satisfying way and they're not just like left out to dry
Sure.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
whatever. As if people actually want to play them and can play them, and they get run in a regular, semi-regular time frame where you're not just like, what the hell did I do last time? You have no
Correct.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks, but yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you have GMs with 2 games running concurrently. You have GMs, with one. So, I think there's not a GM right now not running a game.
Yeah.
Is there? I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't know.
Ian.
Yes,
So
Ian. Yeah. Yeah.
everybody else is running something. So I don't know if Matt will run anything after Dark Ages for a while. She could. I know she wants to run Vamp 5th edition, so that'll be out there. So yeah. And then I know well, Doc is running masks, helping with masks, and then
Correct.
running it will be running Warhammer, then
Warhammer,
you're
yeah.
doing CP.
Yes.
Bo's doing actually like 4 games at once. He's doing like the Genesis game. I guess he said he's not going to do Star Wars for 3 months.
Yes.
And he'll do End of the World and then Tor.
Tor, yeah.
So
Tor,
that's 2-ish games. I mean,
correct.
End of the World is kind of one shot ish, episodic ish, but yeah. So I don't know. And then I'll have it when The Witcher comes around. I'll have 2. I'll have Trek 2.
3. Delta Green as well.
Delta Green will be over next month.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
That really is going to be a mini campaign. Really is going to be a mini campaign.
Okay.
There's no going off and doing your own thing really in that game. It would be you get an assignment, you go do that assignment. Right? So,
nice.
So yeah, I'm planning 1 session at the end of the month here for Delta Green, maybe, and then 2 more next month. It should be done. I hope. Because it's on a timer too, so if they take too long, it's like
oh, nice. I see. Interesting.
Yeah. They have to get things done in a timely manner. The Genesis. What else?
Yeah, that's it. Chaos.
Yeah. And then Rogue Trader and Dark Ages too. So yeah. Yeah, so we have a lot of games going on, that's for sure. Somebody got killed. A PC got killed last night. That's always good. I don't. You'd have. What happened? Right.
So yeah. So
it would have been better if it was Doc. But
yeah, it would have been so much better if it was Doc. I think. Yeah, the whole server would have rejoiced, but unfortunately, it was TD, the dude. So Chaos as a game can be pretty brutal because the damage has exploding dice, and based on the actions you take during the attack, the damage can literally be like, I mean, not it can be multiplied like 2x, 3x, 4x. So the dude comes into the fight, the bad guy turns around, shoots, and does like they explode. I think 2 dice explode, causing 88 points of damage, dropping him -31 below his hit point max.
I'm guessing it was instant death.
Eh, yes, but I think everybody was shocked and not prepared for it. So, like, even Rogue was like, okay, the game has some things where you can get some divine favors if you roll a D100 dice. In TD's case, it was 2% chance of a divine favor, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Couple of players prayed for him, but that didn't.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, but so in that same fight, Krizach, which is played by Ghost, he ends up lobbing a grenade in return to this person who had killed TD's character, doing 300 points of damage. Because he exploded twice, and his grenade does a 10x multiplier on it, basically incinerating this thing instantly, right? So combat is extremely brutal, and yeah, it was just the bad roll of dice for TD yesterday. But overall, it's a good session. If you guys are out there, you should watch it. It's very interesting because a lot of things were happening. One character took a completely dark turn in the end. Two characters were two of them were extorting each other for more money while a firefight is going on and we're investigating. So it was a very interesting session yesterday. Didn't go in a direction where everybody expected it to go. So
yeah, everybody's been talking about it.
Yeah, it's
It should be up. What's processing is at 91%. So probably
nice.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Probably tomorrow morning I'll get it up. Yeah. And then there'll be a Star Wars session the day after. I don't think anything is scheduled for tomorrow. Sunday is the first episode of Trek. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully it's not let down.
No, we have some quality players in it. We have Ghost, Bo, TD, myself. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, it should be cool. So yeah, and then you guys will know what the big reveal of what this game's kind of all about. At least at the beginning. And I'm hoping that it doesn't get like spread out to the other group that comes later in the week. So they have the same surprise. Because those two sessions are actually happening more or less simultaneously.
I see.
So
don't release the video, and we won't say anything. Release the video simultaneously.
I could, yeah. I could, yeah. That should be interesting. So that's it for new stuff this month. New stuff next month. Oh, well, the Genesis is going to actually start. They had the session 0, so they should be starting that this month. Next month, new stuff is the Grasshopper lies heavy, and I don't think there's anything else, right?
No.
New stuff wise?
No, nothing new stuff wise. As a campaign wise, yeah, you might run maybe a session or two of The Witcher, and then Doc might run a session or two.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But nothing new starting really as a campaign. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Doc said his stuff will be more background stuff, yeah. So, what else? Anything else you can think of?
No. It's going to be interesting. We have we've done 7 games.
Yeah, we've had 7.
5, 6, 7, and we have
I think I saw that. I think there's 22 or something.
22 or 23 games scheduled for this month, which is quite something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's up there. Yeah, next week, Trek on Sundays, the big CP session on
on the 13th,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
and then another Trek session on the 14th, another Chaos session on the 15th, a dying days session, which is the end of the world thing that I was doing on the 16th, the Genesis on the 17th, another Cyberpunk session on the 18th, and then Masks on the 19th, and then a day off.
Yeah, actually, if there was something on the 12th, that would have been cool, but there's nothing on the 12th. So that would have been continuous sessions back to back.
Well, somebody's just got to run something.
Yeah, somebody's got to run something.
Yeah. And then day off on the 20th. The 21st is a one-shot, a World of Darkness one-shot. Mostly to get Carl into a game, which is one of our recruits. And then another day off before Thanksgiving, or that is Thanksgiving, I guess, 22nd. And then 23rd, the Genesis, and 24th, Vampire. 25th, nothing. 26th, Mask, and then 27th, the CP. 28th, Delta Green. 29th, Tour, Book 3 starts. And Masks on the 30th. That's the game set up for this month. Yeah. And then next month, 3 to Genesis, 3 Cyberpunk, 3 Grasshopper Lies Heavy, and 3 Masks at least, minimum. So, yep.
Crazy.
And that's just 12 sessions. So, the fill-in after that, right?
Yes.
So a lot of games. As I always say in one of these, if you're still watching, I know there's one viewer out there. If you do watch this and repeat, go to our front page of our YouTube channel and click our Discord link. It'll take you to our fan club. There's no requirements, that you need to do. Just be a good citizen, be a good person to be on there, and you can shoot the shit with us. If you're interested in playing with us, we still do have potential openings for recruits. We'll try to get you in games as soon as we can. We do have fairly strict rules because we want good role players, good people, and people that have an activity or an availability that allows them to play, a few games a month at least. So if you think you fit that bill, and I always suggest watching our videos, particularly games like Cyberpunk, Abandon All Hope, to just see kind of the role play requirements. If you're more used to playing D&D, that sort of thing, it doesn't mean that you can't do this, certainly. But it's just the style of play really to be aware of. Although we do plenty of tactical combat, really what our niche is here is the role play. We did do a survey. It was kind of interesting of our play styles, and by far and away, really kind of the method actor and the story teller roles of player types, I guess. Really kind of came up on top. That second CP session is really kind of if you just listen to the intros, if you can do that, then you should stop by, and we'd be interested in having you for sure. And if you can't and you want to aspire to that, that's great too. I mean, I feel we're pretty kind to new people. We actually have a guest right now that his first role play session was here on B&B ever. So probably not a great idea to get your start in a server like this, but it just kind of happened that he knows Bo, and it worked out that way. So yeah. Yeah, so join our fan club page if you want to come talk to us about role-playing games. Some of us are system files and myself, particularly, and a couple other people. I can talk systems to you and, make you fall asleep from boredom or settings and whatever, right? So yeah, I feel that we've been really strong this last year, particularly in the last 6 months with our role play. But I mean, I think it's getting better and better, which is kind of like I think of things I did a year and a half ago, and I'm almost embarrassed. Right?
Yeah, which is good, which means that we keep pushing forward, right? Even the styles of games we are playing, even that has changed quite a bit, right? It's the intros, the interpersonal, like not PvP action, but more like PvP social aspects, right? Which makes really interesting. Like example, Abandon All Hope. Before Abandon All Hope, maybe the Ace of Campaigns, but I don't know. Like it was interesting with Seeds of Rage that the initial sessions were very PvP social, right? Which creates all sorts of interesting outcomes down the road as the game comes to a conclusion. So
it made you guys invested in each other's success or failure.
Yeah.
Right, because that honestly was what it was, right? Zero and Manus kind of had this bubbling kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Rivalry.
Yeah,
I guess. Like who's got the biggest dick, right?
Correct.
And in the end, you both kind of. I don't know that Zero wanted to kind of stay there and do that, but in the very end, they're kind of. It ended up being that their goals were similar.
Yeah, it was more. I think Zero before the not betrayal, but if the people had not been sent into the room in that fashion, I think after Ascension, Zero would have left himself. I think it was it was from Zero's perspective, it was an unnecessary action to send all that,
10 people to their
10
deaths
people to their deaths in that fashion when one was already there. At which point he was like, I think I'm just going to fuck with Manus for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. I like after I kind of like did the end of the game, and this shit happens to me all the time. Is like some game ends, or I do a one shot, and it ends, and I'm like, oh, I could do this and this and this and this off this, and then it's like, fuck. Especially one shots. That happens all the time. That's why I don't run one shots anymore, because they never end up being one shots.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like the Shadows of the Demon Lord.
It's hard because you'll have to forcefully push your players into directions where they're not ready. If they're not,
that's a whole different thing. But but it's like the end of Abandoned All Hope. I was like, oh, I wonder what Tammy and
Hayden
are doing on this outpost, right? It's like, do I really want to? Maybe. I mean, both Sim and Matt did amazing with Tammy and Hayden. So, I mean, great. And that was a very interesting. They had a very interesting relationship too, right? It's kind of creepy fucking thing that they had going on. It was quite unbelievable, honestly. It was pretty impressive. And somebody just joined the fan server, actually. I wonder if it's our viewer.
Hey, whoever joined, welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a great campaign.
Yeah, it was. I know. I think for me, that's still an example how a simple system. I mean, again, that's just my opinion. I just feel simple systems allow greater role play because as a player, you're just focused on the role play. You're not focused on mechanics or
Well,
even.
I made a very, very concerted effort to hardly roll any dice in that game.
Sure, yes,
Just like,
but even like it was simple to understand, right? You were just rolling off, your what is that? Your strength and your reflexes.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah, opposed is it's kind of like inverse, right? Opposed is you add your whatever your score was to your roll, and
correct,
then if you're going from a target number, you're trying to roll under your score.
correct.
And the big thing is like if you're in a negative situation, you're rolling a d20 or a d10 based on which way you're going,
Correct.
right? If you're trying to go high or trying to go low, you roll the opposite. Or in a beneficial scenario, you get the better die.
Correct, but that's
So,
all coming from the GM, right? The GM is setting that
yeah.
up. As a player, you're not thinking about those things, right?
Yeah, I just tell you, hey, roll a d20 or roll a d12 or roll a
correct.
d10, whatever.
And then like there was no skills per se as much, but more like talents that basically augmented, like you can make 2 attacks with like this or so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt that you didn't have to like, oh, what skill should I roll? Okay, for this skill, what role play should I do? It was more like just role play and then just roll these dice. That's
Right.
that's just.
Yep. Yeah. We can for sure.
Mm.
Definitely. So, what else?
No. That's it. That's all we.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Answer of life.
Yep, that is everything. Oh boy.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how December's schedule falls out. I have a feeling that there's going to be a shit ton of games scheduled. If like real life schedules don't mess it up too bad. But you got 2 games coming out of priority that still need 1 or 2 sessions each, and then you have another new game coming in priority, and then
2 new games coming in priority, right?
No, I don't think so. Actually,
Genesis and CP will be coming into priority.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But CP's already been running, so
yeah, so it's fine.
More or less, it's already still there. You just,
I guess it's going to be interesting to see, while many games want to run, what the availability overall is. So, because it's December after all, so.
Yeah, that's the question. And I would say, well, I don't, some of the same players are playing in those games, but it's players that are available, a majority of the time. So it's not that big a deal. The only thing that messes with is being able to double book, which is always nice. We weren't able to double book at all this month, unfortunately. So yeah, that's always nice to be able to double book. Those usually come historically for us. We've been able to double book with things like Star Wars and End of the World, stuff like that, which can take episodic games essentially. They can take whoever is available that's not in that other game.
Sure. Yeah. Only and one GM has double booked himself in the past.
Yeah, for like 5 p.m. and then 8 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive. I actually did I do that? I tried to do that when my wife was gone for like a week and a half, and I had a Saturday. I think I scheduled something at 2 p.m. and something at 8 p.m. or something. I don't think one of those games ran for some reason.
I think
it wasn't like the day of decision. It was like a couple days before. I think I was like, Dad, or I wanted to go get drunk or something. But that was like Keltia and some other game, I think.
Yes.
Old Keltia. Best part of that game was Ian's character. Samson, use your womanly arms and push the boat over. Yeah, he just needs to revive that character in another game.
Witcher.
Yeah, he's kind of, I mean, playing a dwarf, so
Yeah, so
could be similar. Yeah, so I have like speaking of The Witcher, I have like I think I have like 11 of the locations done already.
nice.
So they're all set up and ready to go as far as like the map, the slide work, right? No NPCs have been added because I'm waiting for the sheet anyway. And then I got to do artwork on those. But it's set up like you've seen Simba Room, how that was set up. It's very similar as far as how I have like images, and then I have a top down map to go with it typically. So, and I don't think the top down map will be used all that often, but there if I need it.
Like if there's any sort of tactical combat or something like that.
Yeah, if there's any combat, and there was like the Goblin Town from Simbarum that I had set up. I just ported that straight over as a village and
nice
in The Witcher. One of the ones that was next to Brooklyn. So, yeah, being able to do that's nice.
Yeah,
because I've already put all that work into it. Hopefully, get to use it somehow. So,
yeah. And I mean, even some of the forest stuff that you have in Simba Room, you can just use it here. Right? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or changed a few things.
Good.
But I never get that time setting up the bestiary back. But and that's probably what I spent the most amount of time on. Honestly, is inputting everything and testing the macros, because it's a little weird, right? Because it's like the GM never rolls in that game, so I had to make sure that everything, like, so if I'm attacking you with and I'm a PC, my attack goes against your quick reflex and my accurate. So my accurate is a 12, and then you subtract whatever your quick bonus is. So whatever it is above 10. So basically, whatever mine is above 10 adds. So if I have a 12, I'd add 2 to my attack roll. But if your quick was 12, you'd subtract 2. So you have to keep all that. So I had to do targeted attacks for every one of them. So I'd have to test it.
I see.
And then if I'm defending against you, I would just say I attack you. And then you would roll defense. You would roll your reflex and subtract my accurate from your reflex.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had to keep track of all that in macros. It all worked fine, but I'd have to make sure that when I set their stats, if it needed to be a positive or a negative based on how the macro is written. And I would always forget. Like I'd stop for like 2 days and I'd be like, does this need to be a positive number or a negative? And I have to do it every time. Like, yeah, but so interesting. Maybe now my Kickstarter's about to come, which I bought like all the hardcovers of everything. So I've got like six hardcover books coming, and I'm not using it right now. So whatever, and just add it to the pile.
The Simba Room.
So I got the normal Kickstarter, which was like the adventure, and then you could optionally do add-ons and add like various books for a discount.
Okay.
And I did, and
yeah,
they're just gonna add to the pile. Fine. I'll get to it eventually, maybe. Like L5R.
L5R someday.
L5R and a lot of other ones up there.
Someday.
One day. Until something else comes that kind of bumps it in priority. But there's nothing out there that I'm just like itching to run that I don't have already. So
nothing out there yet.
Yet. but I want to play more than run that game.
Yeah.
And we are talking about 2D20 Dune. Oh,
Hopefully soon, please,
oh, so
Modiphius.
sweit. So sweet, so sweet.
If you're listening, if you're
Yeah.
watching.
It's Modiphius. They're like they're really publishing a lot of games for other people right now.
Yeah.
They added that Vert game, which is interesting because all these games have different systems. Like the ones that are publishing instead of just like I guess they're probably publishing. I don't know if they're most of them are European games. They're publishing for the U.S. because I'm pretty sure don't they publish the Free League games too? That would be like Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah, they publish Mutant Zero, yes. Mutant Year
Yeah,
Zero.
so they're doing stuff for Free League too. So I'm guessing, and now Free League and Symbaroom, the company that published it, merged. So they're both Swedish developers. So they have all those games. They have like that Mindjammer game, which is that's like that's Fate system. That Virtus Cipher system. What else? They actually are doing Vampire 5th Edition. They're doing the new Cult, which is I think which that's actually uh, Powered by the Apocalypse, and others obviously. But the only thing they develop themselves is 2D20. But they publish a lot of other types of games.
Yeah, I guess I mean, the thing is, I don't know, it just feels that whatever they're publishing and pushing through, it's getting through all the different, like, what's that, Dungeon Masters Guild, it's coming on Amazon, getting to all the US game stores.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense because they have all the logistics figured out. Right?
They're doing better too. I tell you, when I first bought Conan, it took forever because I bought it straight from them, and it took 2 weeks at least to get here.
It came directly from the UK.
Yeah, straight from Modiphius, and then I bought that Caliphagum game, and
yes.
it took like less than a week. Yeah,
not bad.
So I'm curious to see when the operations division gets here. I'm guessing anytime, probably pretty soon. Because I already bought it, so I could get the PDF. I couldn't wait. So got that. I think that's it. Recently, at least.
Yeah.
Been getting a lot of my pre-orders in that I bought months and months and months ago, like L5R and Warhammer. But I think that's it, though. Yeah. I don't know of any other new campaigns that we haven't spoken about. Demon Gate, I think I mentioned. That's Rogues Every. Yeah, people that watch this, please go look at Arcanum Syndicate games. We've been talking about Chaos 6010 AD and Demon Gate. Both are one of our players. He publishes and designs them both. And they seem to be really good games. And if anybody's into indie press games, please go check those out and drive through RPG and take a look at them. So that's Chaos 6010 AD and Demon Gate. And the next supplement of Demon Gate, I will be. I wrote some, so
nice.
Yeah. I don't have much else for tonight. besides sleep and.
Yeah, I've got some quick macro work to finish.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to do it tonight if you don't want
Oh no, I want to finish it off because tomorrow I don't know. I just want to get it done so that it doesn't hold up stuff. Yeah.
Like I say, I'm working on locations mostly right now, getting all this set up. So I have NPC stuff and PC stuff to do, but
No, it should be pretty quick.
It's actually kind of good that people aren't filling out their sheets right now because I can be like, instead of doing that, do this other stuff, which is more important for me to take care of because I can see it in front and then, but it's pretty cool. I kind of know the first. Well, I know Doc, Effie, and probably Ian.
Uh-huh.
How that's all going to start. So I think those three are going to definitely start together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you and Sim.
Me and Sim need to talk.
Yeah, you and Sim, and then Matt and Ghost, and then I'm not sure about anybody else yet. So
yeah,
but yeah, you and Sim should talk because you'll have a good tie-in. I did your ship.
Yes, I need a name for the ship.
It's the same ship. If you remember when Darren ran.
Oh, nice!
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same.
Nice,
ship.
awesome.
Yeah.
Fond memories of that ship.
Yeah, Matanga and
Kellen,
best friends forever.
Yeah, I know.
One brown man, one white man.
That should have been a longer game.
Yeah, it was Pizza Cthulhu, I think.
Yeah,
it's like the starter game from Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to run season 2 of Conan and kill Doc finally. So. Can't parry mental attacks. Yeah, and we've been talking about Modifius, and I try to plug them every time I do one of these because we really enjoy the 2D20 system in games. We've played Conan, we've played Star Trek. Have we done any other 2D20s?
I'm looking at this thing called Infinity, Corvus Belli
Infinity. Yeah, so I have that.
You have that?
I do have that. It is like a cyberpunkish game.
What?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I wonder.
It's based on minis. A miniature game, a European miniature game. Well, that's like the theme. It's like Warhammer 40K, right? That's based on minis too. But so they took that theme in the mini game, made it a role playing game. But it's cyberpunk essentially.
I wonder.
Oh. Okay, let's just get done. You wonder what?
I wonder if it's not been done where you start a game with one system and you take it into another system.
Maybe. Yeah, you could definitely do that.
Because the setting shouldn't matter, right? Because there's so much work done for the setting. Yeah. Why should it be cast away?
Yeah, I've got don't do that. I mean, it's just like you could just have you could have so if you wanted to do another setting for CP 2049, you could do it in Icarus 1, or if you really wanted to, you could do it someplace else.
Yes.
But even if you just wanted to do it in Icarus 1.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah. So.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Infinity. John Carter is out now. That was in Kickstarter earlier this year. I had no interest in it. I did not back it. I know Darren did. I don't know if he's looked at it at all. Then there's, of course, Munich Chronicles. That was our first 2D20 game. I played a board game, Munich Chronicles board game at Gen Con last year, or not this year, but last year. 2017. Yeah, it's kind of like 40K a little bit. I think that's the only 2D20 games there are, I believe. So I guess Dune's going to be the next one.
Yes, I hope so. Please.
I hope so too. That's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, I want to see what they build out.
Spice must flow, brother.
The spice must flow. Yeah, I have plans for that game. Big plans.
That was so weird that we were like on the cusp of developing it for Swan, and then
Yeah, they say we're going to launch it. They're like,
it
okay.
literally was like that week. And it was like, oh, okay. Well, we can wait, whatever. Because it'll be.
Boy.
I mean, if it was any other system, we might have done it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I think
But it was like our favorite system, so it was like, okay, yeah,
we'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait, and like you said, we'll use the time to improve the skill, right? So that when you play it, you are more adept than you were.
It's the thing about 2D20 is though you can get bogged down just a bit.
Sure. Yes. I guess it depends. I'm more interested in the social aspects of.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
I guarantee there'll be some sort of social combat system.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting, right? Because I've not seen it in any other system till date.
Song of Ice and Fire has
it. There you
go. They have a full. It's as full as the actual real combat system.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, but I would say there'd probably be more of that than actually the real combat.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting if it's social and war game style combat.
Yeah,
right. Because if you are a house,
moving armies around,
moving armies around, right, and then rolling like a regiment or like a platoon style combat.
Yeah. I'd like I say, and like a Song of Ice and Fire does that too. I've always said that Doom is like a Song of Ice and Fire
in space.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in any kind of negative way for either. It's just very similar.
Yeah.
Similar political games.
Mm-hmm.
It's really what they are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't, like I say, besides that, I haven't heard of anything that's like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing,
Yeah.
Not right now. Like a lot of them are coming out and surprising me, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I look at it, whatever. But yeah, and I can't even think of any additions that would be coming out anytime soon. Got a lot of new additions to games right now. There is a game you probably don't care because it's Zweihander. So Zweihander is coming out with Tetsubo, which is like a Asian
Zweihander.
Asian Zweihander,
yeah,
essentially.
It's literally Zweihander because you need 2 hands to pick that book up.
It's fucking huge. It is fucking big. And the funny thing is, like I saw, what's his face, the creator of Zweihander. I follow him on Twitter, and he, I guess for Warhammer 4E, the last weapon they have in their 2-handed weapon list is a Zweihander.
Zweihander, yeah.
So they kind of doing this,
Nice.
Kind of funny.
That's awesome.
All right. So on that note, do you got anything else you want to say or talk about?
No. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Say again if you're interested in hanging out with us and playing games, or just chilling on our guest server or our fan club server and talking about games. We seem to have a little bit more activity there lately. Just go to our YouTube page, which you should be on right now. But go to the front of it, where the link's at. There's one link to our Discord page, and follow that link. It'll take you straight there. A bot will introduce itself to you and tell you what to do if you want to play games, or not. If you're just there to just chill, you can. We keep a different Discord server for our players. So talk to us there. Tell us what your interests are, your experiences, etc. And yeah, and come on in and hang out with us. Xeipher's not too mean to people. Unless you become a recruit, then. So one thing to note, we are a US-based server. Most of our games do get played 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, between 9 and 10 Eastern. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. A lot of us have kids or families, so we get kind of a late start, but not quite late enough for the Europeans or early enough for the Europeans. So it's tough. We've had one European that came and played. It didn't work out, but not for reasons of actual timing. But typically that's tough on Europeans, and I apologize because I know it's almost 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in Eastern time. So maybe if you guys are the ones that are watching, probably Europeans. Sorry. I don't think there's really any plans to change that at this time. But if you can play, yeah, let us know. I think it's a difficult task, but just wanted to put that out there. But everybody can come to our fan page and hang out. So that's all I have. I'm Tet. That's Xeipher, and guess we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Yes.